It wouldn't be a tranquil, healing vacation at the White Lotus if someone didn't die.
Breathe out.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're recapping all the Season 3 developments that tease who will bite the bullet before the final credits roll. The danger has been ratcheted up to the nth degree in Thailand, and for once it feels like no one is safe.
You think he's dangerous?
I mean, he killed his wife.
Internet forums are ablaze with wild fan theories hoping to identify the unlucky candidates of the White Lotus curse. So here are all the clues we've gathered so far. Plus, stick around for our best guess as to this season's doomed tourist, or tourists. And, of course, the killer.
It's not gonna get messy.
You're gonna kill the dude, right? In my book, that's a little messy.
Spoilers ahead for the first 2 seasons and the first 6 episodes of Season 3. Season 3 opens in true White Lotus fashion, with the discovery of a body that has turned up to sour everyone's picturesque vacation. But unlike the first 2 seasons, the characters now find themselves in a terrifying active shooter situation. At the peak of the action, creator Mike White cuts to a 1 week earlier card, meaning we'll have to watch to the end to find out how it all plays out. So who was the gunman? Whose body was floating in the pool? And who else may be hit by the gunfire? Let's dive in.
Everyone runs from pain towards the pleasure. But when they get there, only to find more pain. You cannot outrun pain.
The Ratliffs. A looming fraud indictment, missing lorazepam, kissing brothers, and a daughter who wants to move abroad to embrace Buddhism, the Ratliff family is entangled in quite the messy web. There's a good case to make that at least one of them could be destined to die. For example, Saxon has been schmoozing Chloe, and her murderous partner Greg, who's going by the name Gary, now knows about their affair.
He knows about you.
Me?
But considering the shots ringing out in the opening sequence, we have to account for who's in possession of a weapon. Timothy stole Gaitok's gun, so the booming gunfire could be at his hands. And even though Gaitok took it back, Timothy still knows where to find it. With his business empire crumbling and the threat of jail time hanging over him, Timothy is unraveling quickly.
I'd rather die. You understand me? I would rather f***ing die.
Though he considers taking his own life, the prospect of leaving behind a distraught family stops him from going through with it. So what if he decides to take them with him?
Death is a happy return. Like coming home.
Fan theories online point to a potential family annihilation scenario, where Timothy takes out Victoria, Saxon, Piper, Lachlan, and himself before they can find out that his shady dealing cost them everything. He even fantasizes about it in episode 6. This ending would be incredibly dark, and the past 2 seasons' deaths have had comedic elements to them. However, we aren't ruling this theory out yet. There are quite a few clues that indicate his potential to kill. For one, there's been numerous scenes where he almost seems to be telling Piper goodbye.
I love you so much.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you.
You're so perfect.
While this could be interpreted as Timothy coming to terms with a reality where Piper will no longer be a part of his life, either because of his inevitable self-inflicted death or the potential sentencing, there's still merit to the idea that he's taking time to appreciate his daughter with encouraging words before he has to do the unthinkable. It's as if he wants this moment to be her final memory of him, rather than the moment he pulls the trigger. Later, Victoria's dialogue could be taken literally when she comments on the type of men who were aboard a boating excursion.
That was a convention for con men and tax cheats.
Without realizing it, she's effectively describing her husband. So if he belongs in the same category as the crooks on the boat, like murderer Greg, then her next line is even more sinister.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if a few of them were actual killers. You think men like that only exist in bad movies? Turns out they're real.
And of course, the camera cuts right to contemplative Timothy as she emphasizes how dangerous those guys are. But if Timothy doesn't turn out to be this season's killer, and the family annihilation theory still rings true, could there be potential for someone like Victoria to carry it out? She's already displeased with Piper's life choices, so what could happen if she learns about her son's taboo behavior and her husband's criminal misdeeds? Could she really stomach losing her home?
We're not gonna lose everything.
No.
No. And if we did, honestly, I don't know if I'd want to live.
Jacqueline, Lori, and Kate. When it comes to the three frenemies, they're clearly far out of their depths in Thailand. From the hotel for seniors to the chaotic water fight street festival, the ladies are constantly popping up in the wrong places.
Something is off.
What?
I don't know if I like this.
Something's a little weird, am I right?
They're quintessential ignorant tourists, and of course, we can't ignore the irony of this line.
Please don't shoot us with your guns, okay?
Since meeting Valentine, Alexei, and Vlad, they've been turning back the clock to their party days. But at what cost? Jacqueline has already taken the liberty of sleeping with Valentine, despite having a husband back home. And Lori is finally letting loose post-divorce, leaving her in a number of compromising situations. So while they're finally getting the hedonistic experience they came to Thailand for, it seems the alarm bells are only ringing for Kate. After a tense situation where Alexei's girlfriend approaches the group, Kate begins to raise the red flag.
Okay, I think we should go.
Really?
No!
After having her initial cry ignored, the men are invited back to their villa.
I don't think that's a very good idea. Hey, I think we should just go to bed, don't you?
See you back at the villa.
And Kate's instincts that something sketchy about these guys are spot on. Though the Russian thug trope is a tired stereotype, there's a good chance these men are up to no good. It seems a few setups in episode 2's robbery scene have already paid off, convincing fans that Valentine and his crew are the main suspects. During the scramble, the camera focuses on a snake bracelet that's lifted. Several episodes later, Lori spots a snake tattoo on Alexei's arm.
Oh yeah, you like my snake? I can show you, but it goes all the way down.
This link is pretty blatant, and it's like he's symbolically reminding us that he is a snake.
Snakes are evil. Read the Bible.
Also, while leaving the villa in episode 5, one of the men calls out for a watch he may have left behind. And there is a watch on Alexei's wrist earlier in the episode, possibly stolen during the heist. Plus, Valentine was distracting Gaitok at the gate when the burglars rolled up, so if his posse is ultimately culpable, this leaves the ladies in pretty hot water. Could they be the victims of another armed robbery gone wrong?
She blamed me for the death of her son. But this is not true. This is bullshit.
Gaitok and Mook. Speaking of the robbery scene, fans are not so sure Mook is as innocent as she leads on.
ตอนที่ได้ข่าวอ่ะมุกเป็นห่วงพี่มากเลยนะรู้ไหม
It's possible that she was part of the boutique scheme as well, considering how much power she has over Gaitok.
พี่ชอบมุกอะ มุกหัวดีกว่าพี่นิดนึงแหละ แต่ว่าถึงแม้พี่ไม่ได้ฉลาดอะไรมากมายแต่พี่ก็ทำอะไรได้หลายอย่างอยู่นะ
The casting of these two was quite intentional, as crush-worthy Mook is played by K-pop superstar Lisa, and lovesick Gaitok is played by relatively unknown actor Tame Taptimtong. This superfan dynamic has left Gaitok quite vulnerable to Mook's mist, and it seems she has bigger dreams than serving as a health mentor at the White Lotus. While friend-zoning Gaitok, she makes it clear that she fancies the bodyguards and their hefty income.
ไปไหนมาไหนได้เห็นโลกกว้างชีวิตน่าตื่นเต้นดีออก
So the riches secured during the robbery could help her get on her feet. Be on the lookout for that snake bracelet turning up on her wrist later. Speaking of the bodyguards, it's important to note that they carry holstered guns, meaning that they may be in possession of the potential murder weapon. These arrogant enforcers are quite unkind to Gaitok.
ไก่ตอกเล่นกินเป็นไก่ต้งอ่ะมึงอยากเป็นบริการให้เขาบ้าง
Although they aren't entirely fleshed out, we do know that they protect the Hollingers. Sritala and her husband Jim are powerful figures who own the White Lotus, hold great influence in Thailand, and may have a checkered past. After all, Rick believes Jim has killed before. So if the Hollingers are involved in sketchy business, then their menacing bodyguards certainly pose a significant threat to Gaitok, who's already on their bad side.
ผมไม่ได้คิดจะแย่งงานพวกพี่นะครับ
ไม่มีทางหรอกเว้ย
Even if the bodyguards aren't responsible for the shooting that kicks the season off, we can't count out Gaitok or Mook as the perpetrator. In true White Lotus fashion, every character is inevitably muddied up and shown to have a rather ugly side. So their squeaky clean, one-sided romance can't stay pure forever. Perhaps their odd entanglement with each other and the mafia-like henchmen could lead to one pulling the trigger.
โอ้โหสุดยอดปลาไก่ต๊อกนี่ขนาดครั้งแรกนะเนี่ยว่าแต่ว่าถึงเวลาจริงๆอะนายว่านายทำได้ไหม
Rick and Chelsea. It's easy to see how curmudgeonly Rick could end up on one end of the gun by season's close. He's on a week-long quest to assassinate Jim Hollinger, who may or may not have been involved in the murder of Rick's father.
I mean, how can you even be sure this is the right guy? It happened so long ago. I mean, how do you know?
Because my mother told me who he was on her deathbed.
This vendetta has been haunting Rick his whole life, and the stress management sessions are most definitely not working. After calling in a favor from an old friend, Rick finds himself a shiny new weapon, which there seems to be no shortages of this season. Though his ire is all directed at Jim, his girlfriend Chelsea does drop some interesting clues that he could somehow lead to her demise.
If you kill me, I'll follow you into the next life and the next.
During a key scene, he levels himself on an equal plane as Greg and comments that they're in the same line of work.
What did you do before you retired?
This and that. What about you? What do you do?
Well, the same thing that you do, Gary. This and that.
Though Rick is likely referencing his mission to take out Jim, we can't discount how it looks. As we know, Greg called in a hit on his wife, so should the same storyline play out, Chelsea's odds are not looking great. In fact, Chelsea has already had a number of near-death experiences. First, she was witness to the brazen robbery where a gun was waved in her face. Then she was bitten by a venomous snake at the Cobra show.
This could be some Final Destination shit, like death is coming for me.
So it's certainly possible she's already used up some of her lifelines.
Things happen in threes.
Chelsea has emerged as a fan favorite this season, much like Armand in Season 1 and Tanya in Season 2. And as history dictates, these fan favorites are the ones who die in the end.
I've got a really bad feeling.
One popular internet theory is that either Rick or Chelsea could even sacrifice themselves for the other. In both of Chelsea's close calls, Rick wasn't there to protect her, so his ultimate redemptive arc could see him taking a bullet for her. Inversely, Chelsea has been pleading with Rick to let her help him all season.
And if you don't let me in, if you don't tell me what's going on, then I can't help you, can I?
So what grander way to save him than to literally fall on the blade for him?
No, I'm gonna help you get your joy back.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh.
Even if it kills me.
Chloe and Belinda. What do these two ladies have in common? Well, they're in Greg's crosshairs, and that is never a place you want to be.
They're looking to question him.
Why?
They think he killed his wife.
Let's start with Chloe. Even if Chelsea ultimately disregards how dangerous her man is, Chloe is not willing to absolve her sugar daddy Greg. When discussing a potential fling while their partners are away, Chloe makes a chilling admission.
Well, what? Would he kill you?
No, I just feel terrible.
Well, Gary might kill me. I honestly think he's capable of it.
Whether or not she's known about his past all along, she seems eerily aware of just how violent he can be.
Gary's gonna dump me. Or worse. I don't know.
When it comes to Belinda, she has far greater things to worry about in Thailand than the monkeys and lizards. Since recognizing Greg from their interactions in Season 1 and putting the pieces together, things have taken a frightening turn for the healer. There have been numerous instances where she sensed a presence in her room, as if someone was lurking and closing in on her. Even more distressing, Greg recognizes her too and has even asked to meet with her. Despite pleading to alert authorities that he's hiding out in Thailand, she's immediately shut down.
Some people here have colorful pasts. It's really not wise to stir anything up. I don't think you have anything to worry about. As long as you focus on yourself and your job, I think you survive.
Fabian's words couldn't be any less comforting for Belinda, who's hot on the trail. So if this all catches up to her, there's no reason why Gary wouldn't silence the one woman who threatens to undo him. He arranged Tanya's death in Season 2, so he could very well arrange or even orchestrate Belinda's death in Season 3.
I need to deal with something, and I need your help.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Our theory. Alright, so who do we think is Season 3's ultimate victim? We're being optimistic here, so this is how we think it'll play out. Despite all the major setups, there's a good chance the season's death will be the result of an unforeseeable twist. In the opening, Belinda's son is dashing around the resort in search of his mom, fearing for her life amidst the gunfire.
My mom's out there. My mom's out there.
So what could be a more shocking reveal than Belinda being the one wielding the gun? And her target? Greg. Considering how unsettled Belinda is, it wouldn't be shocking if she took matters into her own hands and acquired a weapon to defend herself.
I think we should talk.
Okay.
So when Greg does come after her, she'll be prepared. But if Greg is the body in the pool, then what accounts for the multiple gunshots? Well, Greg did recruit an entourage of hitmen to carry out Tanya's murder last season, and he has plenty of options to recruit from in Thailand. There's the Russian men who seem to have robbed the boutique, as well as the chauvinist bodyguards. So we predict that Belinda will take out an army of evil men, much like her would-be business partner Tanya did on the yacht a season prior. Digging beyond the screen, when asked why Armand and Tanya were chosen to die, creator Mike White told interviewers that those characters had reached, quote, an operatic conclusion and a final swan song. Considering Greg has had a complete 3-season arc, it feels like he has nowhere else to go. In a world where the prospect of death is looming over the characters' heads all season long, why ship him off to prison when we can send him to his grave? Justice for Tanya. Do you agree with our theory? Who do you think won't make it out of the finale alive? Share your thoughts below. Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.